then, so how long did you date then before you got married? Long time?
Couple, 2.5 years, 2 years, something like that. From 38 till 40.
August 40.
Yeah. Just in the sea, went to Clear Lake and worked one summer. And then he and Elmer went into business at this one little station. I think they sold 50 gallons of gas one day when they first started out. And Dad would go up to maybe a restaurant or go someplace to just get out and talk to people, you know, to make acquaintances and stuff. And then Elmer got mad because he was down there at the service station.
Daddy was visiting.
Yeah, he was.
Well, he liked to visit and,
yeah,
yeah.
So anyway, he built up business pretty good till when we left Klamath Falls.
That was a standard station, was it standard?
No, it was Signal.
Signal. Oh.
Well, he had the standard station across the street for a little while, but then the fellow the head guy, what do you call him, like, wanted to do something different, and Daddy didn't want to do that, so he gave it up.
So then you went to Reno and got married.
Went to Reno and got married in 1940.
August
the 7th. And
you had a toothache.
Yeah, I had a toothache. Well, I didn't have a toothache. I had the tooth pulled, but it just kept bleeding. It wouldn't, you know, it just kept hurting. I think I should have gone to the dentist. I never did.
So you didn't go to the dentist in Reno? No? Just had a toothache.
It went away.
No.
It went away.
So how long was your honeymoon?
2 days. Then Elmer was it took 2 days. Because he only got to take 1 day.
He was already married, right?
Yeah, they got married in April.
Of 40.
Of 40.
Yeah. Evelyn. So. And
then I went to work at Penny's for a little while. I worked there until I was pregnant about 6 months with you.
Oh.
And we had our house built, and we moved in just a month before you were born.
And Grandpa Tiller built your house.
So then we stayed in Klamath Falls until you were a year old, September of 42. We moved up here.
And that was because of the war.
War, yeah.
And Daddy went to work in the shipyards.
Oregon shipyards.
Could he have stayed in Klamath Falls, or he had to either go in the service or do something service related?
No, he was afraid he was going to have to go in the service, but I don't know that he ever would have had to or not. He was still Canadian, you know.
Oh, he was a Canadian citizen.
Yeah, because he didn't get his citizenship papers till.
It was in the 50s, wasn't it, or something?
Well.
Or late 20s.
I was just trying to think, wasn't Michael was a baby?
Could have been.
I think so. No, maybe it was before that. I guess it was a little before that. But it was, I have to look back at the, see.
So you sold your house in Klamath Falls?
We sold our house. When we thought we were going to move, I thought, well, I'll stick a sign out on the front wall, won't do any good. The lady stopped by that same day and I bought it.
How much?
I think we got $2,000 for it.
Did you? So then you went up to Sherwood and bought a house there.
We bought that house there, and did we pay maybe we paid for it, and we paid it in $50 a month. We paid it. Payment.
You only paid $2,000 for that one
I
insurance?
think so. That was a pretty old house.
It was a big house, though.
Oh yeah, big house. But that's where Franklin Ways are, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, we lived there till 49 when we moved over here.
And then Grandpa Tiller built this house on Quallerton Road.
Yeah. And so I've been here, what, 47 years?
Yep.
47 years in January since we lived here. Got all these things back. And
Let's see. And
oh,
then,
well, when we lived in Sherwood, Rick was born over there
yeah.
in 1946. June 2nd. And then
Where was he born at?
he was born at in Good Samaritan Hospital, the annex, whatever they called that. They used to have they had the baby ward
In Portland.
in Portland. And Michael was born in St. Vincent's Hospital in 1956 of January 1st. 56. So. And we. What else?
I don't know. What else?
Where was Sandy born? Or did you cover that?
He slept through that
That's
part, no.
fair.
Huh?
I was born in a hospital.
You were born in Klamath Falls at the, well, there were two hospitals there, and I can't remember the name of the one downtown. Yeah.
Well, the daddy
He
used
was
to
tempting.
say, he says, he was working when I was born, right?
Yeah.
And he went down to the hospital.
And as he came in, the lady was carrying this little baby, and he said, "This must be mine," or something.
Yeah, or she said, no, she said, this
Just
must be yours.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And he couldn't, he thought that was pretty wonderful, that he knew that that was.
That she knew that was.
Yeah, that was his baby.
Yeah, he did. When you were born at. Yeah, so. That was that.
Well, then Grandma and Grandpa Tiller moved up to Sherwood.
They moved from Klamath Falls to Seattle.
Before the war? Or about that time?
About that time. Well, they moved before we did up there. Because Carol was going to school there, and she was a junior, I think. So then she came to live with us. And then we left, and that left her down there all alone. So she lived with a friend then the last year
Of high school.
of high school. And then she went up to Seattle. And then she came here to Portland and went to nurses training up at the University Hospital for 3 years.
Why did Grandma and Grandpa move to Seattle?
Well, about I would say 41 from Klamath Falls. They moved.
Yeah, why did they?
Why? Well, I probably to
Or
do
work.
the
Building
work,
or
or work or something. I really am not too sure, but I think
Did he build a house up there or anything?
he built a couple houses up there.
Yeah.
And then, well, that's right. Justin and Virginia were already married. They got married down here in Klamath Falls. I mean, and then Jess went in the service, so then Virginia went up to Seattle to live with the folks. And then she went to beauty school there. Billy just was in the service, so he came out of the service, and then they were in Seattle. Seemed like they lived in Kennewick too for a while. Then they came down here. Or did they? I can't remember whether they came here or they went to California and then came back up here. I can't remember.
Oh, just in Virginia?
Or just in Virginia.
Yeah, no.
But they lived here.
But Grandma and Grandpa moved down here in 40-something, didn't they?
Yeah. Well, it must have been about 47, because they were living there when they built this house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they were living on the property next door to your house right now.
This was just bare, see, and the man that lived over in Rick's house owned all this land.
What was his name?
Allen, Mr. Allen, I can't remember what his first name was. He used to be a streetcar conductor in Portland. And he sold this acre for, and then when they moved, when he died, then she moved and rented this house out for a while, and it was a mess. So then Granny and Grandpa decided they would buy that instead, and they sold this to
Lawns?
yeah, I think so. To Bill and not Bill, Eldon.
Yeah.
No.
Bill.
Yeah.
Huh?
Dale.
Dell.
Yeah.
Yeah. Long, yeah.
So then Granny and Grandpa lived on the other side of you, and they did some farming on that acreage back there. They
Yeah.
had black caps.
Black caps and raspberries and
They had chickens too. That
chickens.
big chicken coop. Yeah, I remember that. I remember
Yeah.
all the baby chickens and stuff in there. Little
yeah,
baby chicks.
they had chickens then.
Yeah, and gathering the eggs and stuff.
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's a mess.
And it seems like around the sink was always chicken feathers or something.
Oh, yeah. Probably. Oh, always a lot of stuff.
And I had to go out and pick blackcaps in the
You
hot
had to go pick
summer.
the hot summer. Well, didn't you pick black house for Livingston's?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone around here raised blackcaps for a while.
Yeah, well, the Hagermans that lived down there, and the
Cranston.
Fransons, yeah, they all had black caps.
Yeah.
Yeah, now you don't even see them anymore.
No, not very often. And I can remember there were some summers there that Grandma and Grandpa went out and picked things for other people during the summer.
Yeah, they'd go pick beans.
Beans and,
That was real good.
well, and then they went up on Shelton Brands up there, didn't they, to pick blackcaps or something? Because I had to go with them sometimes to pick things. So they were always busy.
Oh, yeah, they always were working at something.
Yeah, seemed
Yeah.
like she used to be so tired at
And then,
night.
oh, I know it.
Yeah,
And I think they went and picked filberts too, or something, for some people.
could have.
Those other people that lived up there on the hill. I
Yeah.
can't remember their name now. They used to pick some kind of stuff for them. But I remember them picking, they used to go to Burke's and the onion
Oh.
and pick beans.
Did beans, yeah.
Yeah.